So I'll take a moment to just tell you about the Caregiver Support Program. I know many of you know all about it because you come to lots of our programs and some of you are new. So the Caregiver Support Program is part of the Dementia Care Collaborative, and that was started at Mass General back in 2017. And we are part of the Palliative Care and Geriatric Medicine Division. The mission of our program is just to transform memory care. And we exist at MGH in order to educate, to connect, and to support. And that's for patients, for caregivers, for clinicians, for community members, really, really for everyone. Some people wanted to know if they could send this link to a friend. So the answer is always yes. Anything that you're invited to, you think somebody could benefit, please pass on the good word. The Caregiver Support Program offers care consultations to caregivers and patients in very specific MGH clinics, along with skills classes for caregivers, support groups, health and resiliency programming like we're doing this afternoon. And this program is entirely supported by the generosity of donors like yourselves. So if anybody here is interested in wanting to support the program, you can talk to me or any of my colleagues about how you might offer some support. That's us. Now it's on to Kristy, our keynote facilitator today. Welcome back, Kristy Harvey. Kristy has over 15 years of experience as a movement educator in the modalities of yoga, Nia, Thai yoga bodywork, and meditation. She is a native of Charlottesville, Virginia, and she is the former administrative director of the Mindfulness Center at the University of Virginia. And her work there involved establishing a mindful movement program and a restorative yoga program for breast cancer survivors and caregivers. She's the owner of Wise Owl Wellness, based out of Tucson, Arizona, and the Wise Owl School of Yoga. She provides classes, workshops, and yoga teacher trainings. And Kristy also used to work at the Memory Disorders Clinic at UVA. So she is very, very familiar with what many people who logged on today are experiencing in their lives. And I will turn it over to Kristy. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Nori. It's so nice to be back. Thank you for having me again. Welcome back to everybody who was here last time, and welcome to the folks who are joining us for the first time. So this is transformative rest, and we know that everybody could use more of that. And if you're not sure what that means, well, stay tuned. The difference between sleep and rest is huge. How many times have you gone to bed at night only to wake up the next day feeling just as tired as you did when you went to bed that night? I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Rest is different from sleep. When we sleep, we kind of shut down, the mental chatter slows down a bit, and our body gets a release from our daily stressors, whatever those might be. And that's when our body kind of kicks into self-healing mode. But if we're not restful, if our minds are still busy when we're sleeping, then we're not able to get into that, what we call the parasympathetic response, which enables us to heal. And so we end up using more energy than we do replenishing it. So Yoga Nidra is a technique that we can use to ride the wave of the sleep pattern and get into those brainwave states of minimal activity so that the body can then do what it does best, which is heal. So when we are doing this Yoga Nidra practice, the idea is to be relaxed. The whole point is that you should be comfortable, you should feel warm and safe, and just let the process happen. If you happen to fall asleep during this session, don't worry about it. It just means you're tired. So allow the body to do what it needs to do and trust that you're still going to benefit from the practice. Yoga Nidra is a 2,000-year-old practice. It comes to us from different yoga schools, and it's just a guided meditation technique. It's designed to relax the body, to disengage with our thoughts, and to become aware of emotions that we're storing in the body. and accepting how we're feeling and what we're thinking and how our body is responding with compassion. So that is one of the things that is missing when we are, dealing with life's stuff. And most of you are caregivers or working with people who have dementia, which is stressful, in addition to everything else that you have going on in your life. So we have physical stress, we have mental stress, and we have emotional stress, particularly if you're a caregiver in the home with someone who has dementia. We have, this want as a human to help people. And when it's difficult to help people sometimes, then we start to feel resentful or angry or sad that we might feel helpless in our situation. And so when we're taking care of other people as the caregiver role, who's taking care of us? We have to be able to give ourselves a little bit of slack and allow ourselves to feel what we have to feel, to have the thoughts that come into our minds and realize that it's okay to have those thoughts, that everybody's human, and then to accept that with compassion so that then you can be replenished and provide the care, the quality of care that you actually want to give to that person. So as a culture, we are constantly in that fight or flight response. We are we're bombarded with stress every single day. It doesn't matter if it's somebody that pulls out in front of you in traffic, or you have work stresses, or you have family concerns or health issues. All of those things tend to chip away at our resilience over time. And so Yoga Nidra is a practice that can help build that resilience back up. The definition of resilience, I like to call your bozo ability. If you remember those blow up clowns that we all used to have when we were kids, and we hit it and it bounced back up. So that's resilience, right? Like you get knocked down and then you bounce back up. So this is a practice that helps you strengthen your bozo ability, your resilience, and get on with whatever it is you have to do. We sometimes feel burnout or compassion fatigue if we're working with folks who have dementia and memory disorders of any kind. And it can make us feel physically exhausted. It can make us feel angry and frustrated, not only with ourselves, but with the person we're actually trying to help. And that is not conducive to anybody. So we have to have some kind of self-care practices to take care of us. There are many benefits to meditation. This has been studied many, many times over. And what we found across the board, that the benefits of meditation practice are that it reduces stress. It helps to build us up so that we can take whatever comes our way with grace and compassion. Not only that, it boosts our immune system, and we could all use a little boost in our immunity these days. It helps to reduce insomnia and improves the quality of sleep. So not only will you sleep better, you'll sleep longer and more soundly, giving you that healing rest that we so desperately need. It also helps improve digestion and relieves digestive issues. It can help reduce physical pain, and it reduces physical tension in the body. It also promotes acceptance of those emotions and thoughts that we have in our minds, and it helps to cultivate self-compassion and compassion towards others. So with all of those wonderful benefits, why the heck aren't we doing it? Maybe it's because you never heard of it before, but good news, we're going to tell you all about it today. Just to give you a little bit of background on the science behind this technique, it helps to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. We have the fight or flight or freeze response, which is our alert system, that something is out of balance. That's our stress response. And that can be triggered at any time, many times every day. The problem with that is that when our stress response is triggered, the hormones that are sent into our that release chemicals into our bloodstream make us react physically in a way that is probably overcompensating for the amount of the stress that is actually present. We're designed to fight, flee, or freeze to preserve our safety, to save our lives in the face of danger. But if somebody drops a dish, or if somebody pulls out in front of us, or if somebody cuts in line, that stress response is also triggered. Or if we're dealing with a health issue, or if we are dealing with financial stress, or anything else that causes us to feel tension in the body, it's helping to release those stressful hormones, and it over time can cause a lot of damage to our internal systems. So it's kind of like death by paper cut. We get these little jabs every single day, and it's like, oh, I'm triggered. Oh, there's a stress response. And physiologically, we have the antidote to that. We have a second system called the parasympathetic nervous system that is the antidote. It kind of helps to clear out those stress hormones from our system and return us back to normal, to homeostasis. The problem is the stress response is triggered very, very quickly. It happens before you actually are aware of it in your mind. By the time you know that you're stressed, your body is already tense, your heart rate has increased, your blood pressure is up, and then you think, oh, I'm stressed. The parasympathetic nervous system takes a little more time to warm up. It takes about 15 minutes for that to kick in and return us back to a state of calm. So every time that we receive a trigger for stress, when's the last time you stopped and took 15 minutes to recover before going about the rest of your day? Probably never. We don't have that kind of time in our lives. We would never get anything done because we are bombarded with stress every single day. So this technique, the Yoga Nidra technique, allows us to access that parasympathetic response and really allow the body to get into the healing state and kind of remove all of those stressful hormones from our system. This meditation is going to start with the body, and it's going to relax your body. So you'll hear me doing a body scan. We're then going to move in and check in with our breath. Our breath is the number one tool that we have with us all the time that is an instant stress reliever. And if you don't have your breath, then you're in bigger trouble. So we need to address that first. You have your breath with you. Let's start to use it to our advantage. Then we're going to check in with our mind. What's happening with our thought patterns? What's going on up there? And then we're going to check in with our emotions, checking to see what emotions are present. And then we'll play a little bit with the emotions to see just how fleeting they actually are. Sometimes we feel like we don't have control over our thoughts or our emotions, and they get out of hand, and then we have a big blow up. But this technique actually teaches us that we have a little bit of control over that. And in doing that, it helps us to remain calm, to remain resilient, and to do the work that we came here to do. So how does it work? It follows the brain waves of the sleep pattern. So we're going to be talking about moving into deeper brainwave states. When we're asleep, our brain waves are very slow and there's less mental chatter. And when the brain is resting, that's when the body can take over and repair itself. So we're going, like right now, we're in the brainwave state of beta waves. Those are our awake and alert and paying attention brain waves. There's a lot of activity going on in the brain. As we start to relax, we'll move into the alpha waves. And that's where you'll hear me talking, but maybe you start to tune me out a little bit, where you're paying attention, but you're not bothered by anything. You're having thoughts, but you're not engaging with them. Then we'll move into the theta waves, which is kind of like a dreamlike state. That's where the brain waves are really slowing down and you're getting into more of a sleep state. Then hopefully we'll go even deeper into the delta waves, which is the state of healing. And that's where there's almost little to no brain activity. You're just kind of out. Like if you go to sleep and you wake up and you feel like, wow, I got a really great night's sleep last night and I don't remember anything. That's where we want to be with the delta waves. So as we're moving through those kind of pathways to rest and restoration, there is a system to it. So I'll ask you to, and you can start doing this now, to think about your intention for the practice. What is it that you'd like to receive from it? So maybe it is that you want to be more rested, or maybe you want to have more energy, or maybe you want to have more compassion. Whatever it is, you're going to say that to yourself 3 times in the positive present tense, as though you already have achieved it. For example, if I want to be more compassionate in my caregiving, then my intention would be, I am compassionate. So you can choose whatever your intention is for the session, and then we'll systematically relax the body, check in with the breath, the thoughts, the emotions. And then I'm going to ask you to go to your happy place. So we always end our session with happy thoughts, going into a mental vacation. So you can maybe picture where you might want to vacation to as we get there. And then we'll come back out and we'll discuss it. So that's kind of a brief description. There's a more detailed description of that in the first session. So if you missed that one, you might want to go back and catch it to get the more detailed version of it. But for now, let's practice. Like, what are we talking about? Let's get to it. So make yourselves comfy. You can lie down. You can do this seated in a chair. If you're seated in a chair, you might want to just make sure maybe you're against a wall so you can just relax your head against the wall. And if not, just be as comfortable as you possibly can. Take a deep breath and allow your body to relax as you arrive in the space where you are doing your practice today. Just make sure that you are comfortable and supported and warm. Take another deep breath, maybe in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. If you're doing the practice seated, you can close your eyes or just drop your chin toward the chest, allowing your head and face to relax, and just soften your gaze if closing the eyes isn't comfortable for you. Same thing if you're lying down. If you don't want to close your eyes, you don't have to. If at any time during this session you feel uncomfortable and you want to come out of the session, feel free to tune me out. Open your eyes, bring yourself back to your present moment experience. I'm going to be guiding you through the entire process, so focusing on the sound of my voice. Become aware of any other sounds that are around you in this moment. Sometimes we are able to relax a little deeper when we're aware of the sounds that are around us and we know what they are. And that way, when they come into our consciousness as we're doing this exercise, they don't startle us. Now let's take a moment to set that intention for the practice. Whatever you'd like to focus on receiving from this practice today, repeat that to yourself 3 times silently. For example, I am compassionate. And as we are still just settling in, without opening your eyes, visualize your body. Visualize the room that you're in, the position of your body. Maybe notice the sensation of the clothing touching your body. Just become very aware of the existence of your physical body and the space that you're taking up. We'll begin our practice in the body with a body scan, allowing your attention to come to your right hand thumb, aware of the fingers on your right hand, aware of the palm of your right hand and the back of the hand. Turning your attention to your right wrist, the right forearm, the elbow, the upper arm, all the way up to the shoulder. Becoming aware of your whole right arm, allow it to just rest and relax. And then shifting awareness to your left hand thumb and all the fingers on your left hand. Becoming aware of the palm of the left hand and the back of the hand. Moving your attention to the left wrist, the forearm, the elbow, and the upper arm, all the way to the left shoulder. And then aware of your entire left arm, allowing it to rest and relax. Shifting your attention now to the right big toe and all the toes on the right foot. Becoming aware of the bottom of the foot and the top of the foot. Moving awareness to the right ankle, the right lower leg, the knee, and the right upper leg, all the way up to the right hip. And then as you're aware of your entire right leg, allow it to rest and relax. Moving awareness now to the left big toe and all the toes on the left foot. Aware of the bottom of the foot and the top of the foot. Shifting attention to the left ankle and the bottom of the left leg, the knee, and the upper left leg, all the way up to the left hip. Becoming aware of the entire left leg, allow it to rest and relax. Becoming aware now of your torso, the belly, the chest, lower back, middle back, upper back. Aware of the front and the back of your torso as well as the sides of your body. Allowing your whole torso to rest and relax. Now moving awareness to the back of the neck and the throat. Becoming aware of the back of the head, top of the head, and the face. Allowing the forehead and the eyebrows to soften. Letting the eyes relax and rest in their sockets. Releasing tension in the jaw, maybe opening the mouth slightly and just letting the tongue rest in the mouth. Becoming aware of your whole head, allowing it to rest and relax. Now becoming aware of both your legs together, allowing them to soften and rest. Becoming aware of both your arms together, letting them be soft and relaxed. Aware of your whole torso, soft and relaxed. And aware of your whole head, soft and relaxed. And now allow your awareness to expand to your whole body, from the tips of your toes all the way up to the head, resting, relaxed, soft. Moving our awareness now to the breath, noticing that you are in fact breathing. Letting your breath be natural, coming and going as freely as it likes. There's no need to make any changes to how you're breathing. Just become aware of your natural and spontaneous breath that moves in and out of your body without any effort. The natural breath flows in and out through the nostrils. Notice the feeling of the breath as it comes in and out of your nostrils. There's a sense of coolness on the inhale, and there's a sense of warmth on the exhale. Allow your breath to become longer and slower. Allow a nice, long, slow inhale and a nice, long, slow exhale. Long, slow inhale. Longer, slower exhale. Maybe even become aware of the slight pause between the breaths. Continue breathing normally, just allowing the breath to lengthen and slow down. And as you are continuing to breathe long, slow, deep breaths, feel your body becoming heavy. Heavy like a rock, sinking down into the surface beneath you, allowing your limbs and your torso and your head to be heavy. Feel the heaviness in all parts of your body, sinking down into the earth. And now imagine that your whole body is becoming light and weightless, as though you could float right up to the ceiling, right up to the sky. The limbs and the torso and the head are light and weightless. And as we are feeling light and weightless with our breath, long and slow, let's take a moment to observe our thoughts. Moving into the space of the mind, imagine that you're at the movies and you're watching your thoughts on a large movie screen, just letting them come and go as they please. There's no need to get involved with the thoughts. Just watching, noticing that you have thoughts, but we don't have to engage with them. The body remains relaxed. The breath remains calm and slow. In order to show you that we have a little bit of control over what we think, I'm going to supply the thoughts for you. I'm going to say a series of images and just allow those images to come into your mind and jump from image to image as soon as you hear it. If you're unable to come up with an image, don't worry about it. Just wait for the next one. Red desert, peacock feather, doctor's office, a good night's rest, full moon, a foggy morning, the sun shining overhead, a bouquet of flowers, a tall tree, laughing with friends, a path in the woods, colorful sunset, a cat stretching, the sound of my voice, your body lying on the floor. Now let's check in with any emotions that might be present for you. Just notice if you're holding anything right now and allow it to just be. There's no need to attach to the story of the emotion. Just feel what you feel. If no emotions are present for you right now, I'll give you one. Allow the sensation of the emotion of anxiety to come into the body. Experience anxiety and worry. Feel this stress in your mind and body without attaching to a source of anxiety. Just notice if anything in your body has changed. Maybe body parts have become tense. Notice if your breathing has changed as you're experiencing anxiety. And notice where anxiety lives in your body. Maybe there's a temperature or a color or a shape associated with anxiety. Just for one more moment, allow yourself to feel anxious and worried. And now we'll ask anxiety to leave the body and invite in calm and peace. Notice what it feels like to welcome in calm and peace throughout your entire body. Notice the sensations of calm in your body as you pay attention to muscular tension relaxing. Notice any changes in your breath as you experience calm. Notice where calm shows up for you in the body. Maybe there's a temperature, a color, or a shape associated with calm or peace. And now we'll move into our happy place. I'd like you to recall one of your happiest memories, a truly happy time in your life that brought you much joy. And notice every detail of that memory so you can fully relive it in this moment. Notice all the colors, the shapes, the textures. Notice the sounds, the smells, the tastes. Take a few moments to fully immerse yourself into this happy time and notice how your body feels. Notice your breathing. Know that you can come back to this happy time anytime you want, bringing yourself into this joyful state of being. It only takes a few minutes. So, here in this happy place, it's time to repeat your intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. Whatever your intention was, go ahead and repeat it to yourself 3 times now. For example, mine was, am compassion. And now I will be silent for 1 minute, giving you the space of silence to rest in peace. And as you come back to the sound of my voice, bringing awareness back to your breath, flowing in and out of your nostrils, moving awareness back into your physical body, becoming aware of the shape that your body is making, noticing any sensations that might be present from the toes all the way up to the top of the head. And if there are any areas of tension or tightness or holding on, take a nice deep breath and allow those areas to soften and release with your exhale. And then taking your time, begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, or maybe stretch and yawn if you need to move. Perhaps even coming onto your right side to rest there if you're lying down. And then as you feel ready, make your way back to a comfortable seated position. And we'll end our practice here, alert, awake, and refreshed. Thank you. Welcome back. How's everybody feeling? Are you still asleep? Yeah. So that is a sample of Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra can be as short as 5 minutes or as long as 35 to 45 minutes. It can be used as a sleep aid. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you can listen to a recording and fall asleep with it, totally fine. Or you can drop into it whenever you need to. Only takes a few minutes. So if you, I'm sorry?
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to ask if anybody had any questions or comments. I'm happy to respond to those.
That was great. Thank you.
Very welcome.
I see a few comments. I feel refreshed, anew, wonderful, energized. I have two questions. Someone asks, wonderful. What is the frequency of practice to be most effective? So that's one person's question.
That's a great question. It's really how often can you fit it into your life? If you only have 5 minutes a day, then do 5 minutes a day. If you have time for a longer practice, then add that in when you can. The benefits of mindfulness, no matter what your practice is that they're cumulative. So it doesn't really matter how long you practice, it's how often you practice. So if you just make it part of your self-care plan and get into a rhythm of it, then you can practice anytime, anywhere, and those effects are cumulative. So it'll keep building on itself, which means that the longer you do the practice or the more times you do the practice, the easier it is for you to drop down into those deeper levels of relaxation. So you'll actually go deeper faster the more you practice.
Great. Let's see. Somebody said, is there a recording we can practice with? Yes. So Kristy created a recording for us, and I'm gonna, later this afternoon, I'm gonna send an email, so keep your eyes peeled. It'll have an evaluation, and it'll have it's a 25-minute practice that Kristy recorded. So you can, it's on YouTube, there'll be a link, so you can use that anytime you want. Another person said, do you need a coach? Can you be your own coach? So I think
you don't need a coach. Yeah, you can use the recording. There are, most of the time, Yoga Nidra is done using scripts. So you can find scripts online, or you can write your own, or I can help guide you in doing that. There's the steps that we go through for the Yoga Nidra practice. There's lots of literature out there, books you can read on Yoga Nidra, and you can record your own. It's kind of hard to do it mentally while you're relaxing because you might fall asleep. I usually have to listen to a recording because if I try to do it internally for myself, I'm just asleep and then I don't get to the whole practice. So yeah, it's best to have a recording.
And I will be sending that recording around later this afternoon. And I just put our website up, dementiacarecollaborative.org. So that's where the last recording was. So if you just want to listen to Kristy do it again, it'll be right there. Let's see, just a lot of comments. Thank you, Kristy. Deep bowls of appreciation, Kristy, for sharing Yoga Nidra with us today. Thank you, Nori, for hosting. So I just want to look at the time. It's 1:52. I'm curious if anybody here was at the last session with Kristy, and if anybody used the recording in the past 2 weeks, and if they had any, and you don't have to, there's no quiz or anything, but if you tried it and how it might have felt, what the experience was. And if nobody did it, that's totally fine. But we were just curious if there was any use or any feedback or reflections.
And while we're waiting for responses, just to let everybody know, if you go onto YouTube and just search Yoga Nidra, you'll find so many options to listen that will fit your schedule. So they have them for 1 minute, 5 minutes, an hour. So it's whatever you need and whatever you're thinking of or looking for in that moment, you can find it. And it's important to find a recording that you enjoy. Sometimes we have people who have voices that don't mesh with how we're feeling, or the content doesn't sit well with us. So it's okay to not like the recording. You can always find another one. So don't feel like it's discouraging or you can't do the practice because of the recording. Find another one.
Yeah, I would really echo that, because I've played around with this over the years, and there's some people's voices that I might find really soothing and comforting, and someone else might think it's nails on a chalkboard. So, that's one thing. There are so many offerings out there to find something that resonates for you. Yeah.
So I'm curious if anybody was stressed out before the session. Do you feel better now?
Got some check marks that say yes. Some people are nodding. Somebody says they feel much better.
Awesome. That's really the goal. And to show you that it doesn't take a lot of effort. Sometimes we just need permission to give yourself time to rest and relax and regroup. And 1 hour, studies have been done. 1 hour of Yoga Nidra is equal to 4 hours of sleep. So if you're short on sleep time, you can catch up with a little bit of Yoga Nidra.
Yeah. Someone says renewed strength. I like it.
Yes. Flex that resilient muscle.
Yes, the bozo muscle. I like that. Knocks down and gets back up. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. If anybody has any other questions or reflections or comments, feel free to put them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself if there's anything you want to share, and then I'll just make some announcements about future events.
And also, Nori, I don't know if the handout that I sent, folks should be able to use that to practice at home as well too. That'll give you the whole steps to creating your own script if you want to do that at home.
Yeah, so you're actually going to get 2 emails. You'll get one that comes from like an e-marketing platform, and that has the evaluation and the recording, and then you'll get another email that's just from me. That's the attachment with the practice. Let's see. I love your shirt message, Josephine. Breathe.
It was intentional.
I realize I've never changed the spotlight when I'm talking. It doesn't matter. I'm too relaxed.
It's a great way to be.
I just wanted to say a couple of things that are coming up. So on Tuesday, the 16th in the evening, we have our conversations with caregivers from 5:30 to 7. Probably you all got the email about that, and that's with Brent Forrester. And he has many titles. I'm not going to remember them all now, but he's a doc at MGH. He's the head of geriatric psychiatry at McLean, and many other titles. He's wonderful, so down to earth, brilliant, and he's going to be talking about caregiving in the COVID era. So that's on Tuesday. And I actually just got off the phone earlier with our March Conversations with Caregiver speaker, which is Kristy Gregory, and she's going to be bringing mindful self-compassion, which is, Yoga Nidra and transformative rest is extraordinary. And it's time when we have to maybe take 5 or 10 or more minutes out. She's going to teach us some mindful self-compassion practices that we can use in the present moment while a stress is arising. And I think you'll all really enjoy that. So Kristy, thank you again for returning to the Dementia Care
Thank you.
Collaborative.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Anytime.
So we feel very grateful, and keep your eyes peeled in your inbox either this afternoon or tomorrow morning for the evaluation. We really do value your feedback. We read these evaluations, so give your honest feedback. And if there's programs that you think would be beneficial, you read about something, you're curious about something, please put it in the comment box, because we want to know what would help all of you. So thank you, Kristy. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I see a lot of my Ageless Grace students, so I'll see you tomorrow morning. And have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. I hope you can bring this sensation of relaxation into the rest of your day.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.